was a little fire incident there, right?
Yeah.
That fire incident was a distraction. Correct?
True.
The same way Youth 2 is a distraction.
A violent distraction sometimes.
The whole idea of that distraction today was to take our focus off the proceedings of the pastor, of what the pastor is saying. And Pastor Chinedu kept on saying, look here, look here, look here, forget that, focus on this. The devil will always play his role. That's his role. You must understand this, that you always have distraction. Anything that's positive, there must always be distractions. Youth 2 will always be there. They are called the vocal minority. You are the silent majority. The day the silent majority decides to wake up, to rise up, Nigeria will take its place in the Committee of Nations. I will take this further. Most of you might not know this. In the last 2 decades of our recent democratic experience, every 4 years we have elections, presidential elections and gubernatorial elections, even though we have some off-cycle elections. For the presidential elections, typically we have about 8.5 million to 11 million people who decide who is president of Nigeria every 4 years. 7 to 11.5 actual real votes. 85 to 90% of those people reside in the rural areas. Mostly uneducated, mostly voting because of rice, beans, wrapper, t-shirt, face cap, and little money. They are the vocal minority who make noise in rallies. If you watch TV, your television, you see these huge rallies and you see people there with all these colors, all of them color, face cap, supporting one party. They go there and tell us they support party A. They send trailers, buses to go pick those same people. They wear a different color, supporting party B. On election day, the person who pays the most is who they support, and they give the president of Nigeria. Most illiterates, mostly in the rural areas, local minority. Now, you have a silent majority. We have at least 50 million people who are in the age bracket to vote, who can determine the destiny, the course of Nigeria. What do? My votes don't count. Election day violence. All these politicians are the same. They decide not to vote. Nigeria stays the same. A villager gives you a president. For 4 years, you suffer because the silent majority stayed silent. It's a disservice you do not only to yourself, but to your nation. You keep quiet, you still suffer. 8 years. 8 years. 8 years of President Buhari, because 8 years ago, the Youth 2 he described came out and said a dictator is now a democrat because he wore tuxedos. They gave us a president. Those of you who are old enough, during Abacha, Youth 2 staged a 5 million man march in Abuja and said that he should transform into a life president. You will always have Youth 2. They are the vocal minority. My question today, you, sir, ma, the silent majority, will you become the vocal majority? Model on leadership. And it was easy for me to say Jesus Christ. Why? As a leader, he sacrificed. He was willing to walk to the cross, knowing that ultimately this sacrifice will give birth, will give life to mankind. That's our model of leadership for everyone who wants to be a leader. You should not count the cost. You should look at the glory ahead. What is the benefits to not you, to mankind, for that price you are paying?
What do you advise young people looking at a system that seems rigged against them to actually participate in turning this thing around?
Thank you. I totally understood your question. I gave the answer I gave for one reason only. Before you decide to cook, you have to be hungry to say, I want to cook or to go to the market. That's why I gave the first part of that answer. That something has got to stir up on your inside. That's the most important thing. Going to pick up a nomination form will not happen until that stirring has happened. Part 2 now. You said that the nomination forms are so expensive. When I decided to run for office, I gave my party a set of conditions. I said, 1, they must make nomination forms free to all youths. They must make it free to all women. They must make it free to people with disabilities. On this condition, will I join this party? They did.
You had some lessons there.
No, it's about saying, tell you what, politics is a conversation. It's a give and take. You need to go back and forth. Do you understand? If they didn't accept it, I will move on to the next party that might accept those conditions, because it was important to me that I cannot lead a rescue mission and there's nobody behind me. It was important for me to have Nigerian youths behind me, queuing behind me, for us to go on this journey. I not only did that, I started putting it out there that in this party, they are making nomination forms for women, youths, people with disabilities free. How many Nigerians do you think took the opportunity that was available to all youths, women, and people with disabilities? When my party did that, other parties started doing the same thing. So the excuse is no longer about the form being expensive. Let me tell you what the youths are now facing. Some of them, there are few youths who picked it up. You've now gone there, gone through the primaries. Sometimes you run on a post, sometimes you emerge. The first thing you realize is that, again, the system is rigged, because who do you face when you go out there? You face the vocal minority. You face the media. You face the Nigerian people. And all they want to see, who they want to hear, are those that they have been told these are the leading parties. If you're not part of those people, and these people are the people for the last 2 decades, 3 decades, every day you heard their names. They've been governors, they've been ministers, they've been in that space, you heard their names. So if you don't hear their name, if you are not in their party, you are a joker. So the media points you to these people. So these young people come out now with the best of intentions, and the media, when they question them, they treat them with so much disrespect. Then when they meet Nigerians don't want to sit down and talk to them, because they expect rice, gari, rapa, agbadu, right? And these guys don't have money. So what do they start doing? They all start looking for money to run a race. And I always say to these people, you have to be smart about this. You can't be like them. If you enter this race, it's a boxing contest. Change it to a dancing competition. It should be about ideas. Take them to a place where they can't compete with you. If it's money, they have more money. They know this game better than you. But you know something else better than they do. You have more passion. You have more talent. You have heart. You are doing this for the right reasons. You have solutions to our problems. Get Nigerians to start seeing that this is what it is about. The challenge is most youths expect glory on day one. They think that it's going to happen overnight. So once they get the first sign of resistance, they give up. In the last political dispensation, we had the likes of Showore, Durotaye, you've seen Dele Momodu, we saw Gani Farami. Then a lot of these people have always run because they have the best of intentions. When they believe that I came out because I wanted to help, I wanted to salvage Nigeria, I want to help people, and they see Nigerians reject them for the same people who have held them captive for decades, they are heartbroken. Some of them swear and say, never again, I give up on Nigeria. I will not run again. Nigerians have broken my heart. But you must understand that this is not a 100-meter dash. It's a long distance race. We seek to make change. Change does not happen overnight. Change is continuous. You continue hitting at it. When Christ said, preach the gospel till every man will hear this gospel, he knew that as you are preaching, there are those who are countering. So you must be constant, you must be persistent. You must keep on preaching because there's also a different narrative out there. You don't stop, you don't give up. The challenge is that we have people who always give up. Start with the prompting in your heart, join a political party, dominate the space so that those who keep on using money to dominate that space, you push them out. Have a set of ideals, ideology, what you believe in, what you are preaching there. Stick to that. I will tell you my biggest problem. All these things I'm telling you is what I said I will do. As I begin to start my campaign next week, every day as I meet with my team, people within my party, all they know, all they believe is that the only way to win an election is to have huge rallies to counter Labour, PDP, APC. In order to do those rallies, what I have to do is I have to pay for buses to go and convey people, a rented crowd. I will then give them t-shirts to look like they're supporting me. I'll now put out the video out there and say, Vocal Kachikwu, huge crowd supporting him. Now, those people I have paid, I have brought there, there's nothing I will say. Logic, they will not understand. Ideas, they will not. Reason, they don't want. They've come there because they have been incentivized. I will not be able, I have not changed, I have not done nothing to change the narrative. I have just become part and parcel of the system. Be different. Do things differently. Dare to be different. Who decide to leave Nigeria, if that's what God is saying to you, because at every point there's need for migration, there's need for movement. We've seen that throughout the Bible. If that is what God has said to you, if that is where he chooses to bless you, that's fine. If you choose to move, move because you heard God say move. If you choose to stay, stay and fight because God has given you a spirit of courage, conviction, of love for mankind, for you to do the right thing. I will never tell anybody don't japa because I don't know what God is saying to the person. But all I will say is whatever you are doing, know who is speaking to you, know who you are listening to.